This morning I was having coffee with a couple of friends of mine and we were talking about wood filler and crack filler. And I was telling them I had this crack in my candy bowl that I'd made. Now this has got one coat of varnish on it already. And I knew that this crack was here. It's not a big crack. It's only about not even the width of a piece of paper. And it doesn't go all the way around. But I was thinking of, we were talking about, well, how can you make your own? And I was saying, well, I was thinking of trying mixing some mahogany sawdust with epoxy glue. And I'll just try that and see how it goes here. So I've got a piece of scrap mahogany here. We'll just make some sawdust. Now, why is it that when you want sawdust, it's hard to make, and when you don't want it, it's all over the place, especially in the air? I shouldn't need very much. Now this is 5-minute epoxy, so I don't want to be fooling around here too much. I can feel it starting to stiffen up just a little, becoming like the consistency of putty, which will be good because then it won't run out. Yeah, see if I can work some of that into that crack. May as well take off as much as I can here. Be that much less to have to sand down later. I want to use my lathe here to sand this down, and that way I can keep the contour exactly the same. I realize that this varnish is going to get sanded off, but that's okay. I'm going to have to re-varnish anyway. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scraper here, and I don't know if this is a good idea, because if there's any kind of a catch, it could accidentally yank that epoxy out of the crack, and then I'm right back to where I started, or worse. We'll see what happens. That's the spot right there, and the scraper didn't pull the epoxy out of the crack. I started out with 150 grit sandpaper, and now here I'm using 220. You know, it's kind of hard to tell which one it was, but it's this one right here, and it looks really good. A lot better than it was anyway. If you happen to watch my YouTube video, The Christmas Candy Ball, parts 1, 2, and 3, you'd remember that I called this the special bowl. Well, that's because it's for a special person, and I want it to be sort of specially nice. Now, I know I'm not trying to restore a Rembrandt here, but I still want it to be nice. Okay, so now I got another coat of varnish, Varathane, on this thing, so we're sort of getting back to normal here. This section right here was actually the worst. That's where I had inserted that piece of paper back at the beginning of the video. So anyway, now I know that I can use epoxy glue and sawdust to make a filler. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but if I want to, I know it works.